Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this week's Raw review. This, of course, being the go-home show for Clash at the Castle. Lots to talk about. I feel like there was lots that happened. I don't know that any of that stuff was monumental. At times, this very much felt like a go-home show. I thought the crowd were very flat. They seemed quite quiet, but then what did they have to cheer for? For me, I think there was a couple of matches that probably got their attention. A little bit of stuff to do with Liv that I think definitely got attention. But outside of that, there really wasn't much here. We started with Drew. He opened up the show. We got CM Punk chants. And before he could say anything, Damian Priest came down with Finn and JD McDonough, but no Dominic Mysterio. And Damian said, look, you're being really disrespectful. You're saying that I need Judgment Day to be a world champion. Well, this is not a Judgment Day world championship. Like, this belt has nothing to do with them. And I did look at Finn because I did expect a little bit of a, you know, what's this? Why are you being so disrespectful? But he didn't. He just looked straight ahead. I would have liked a little tease there if we're building towards a split. I would have liked a little summit there, but we didn't get anything. And he said, I want you to go one-on-one with Finn. I'll do you a deal. At that point, Finn did go, huh? And did turn his head, right? But he said, I'll do you a deal. If you win, Judgment Day will be barred from ringside. If I win, then they get to be at ringside. And I don't like that stipulation because I mean, I don't mind Judgment Day being barred. I think that's fine. But Damian Priest doesn't want Judgment Day around. He's made it clear previous that if he's going to win, he wants to do it on his own. You know, he kind of had to say, I don't really need them there, but I want them there. He kind of had to find a way of explaining why he was asking for that, because it doesn't really add up. It doesn't really make sense. It's not the kind of thing that you expect him to want. I think, to be honest, it might have been better if the stipulation was, if you win, Judgment Day are barred from ringside. If I win, you never compete for this title again. Like, really, let's go big. If I win, because we know that Drew ends up winning in the main event. So we could have done that stipulation because Drew ends up winning. So it could have been, if I win, you never get to challenge for this title whilst I'm champion. I'd actually really like a champion to kind of use that stipulation quite a bit as a way of trying to eliminate some of their kind of key opponents. It's quite a clever thing, actually, if you think about it. If you can get a load of wrestlers to agree to that and then you can find a way of beating them, then that means they can never challenge you for the title. You can, like, really thin out the pack. And it would have been really good, quite clever, if Damian had gone that way instead of the, if I win, they get to be at ringside, which I just didn't think was very good. Obviously, it didn't matter. We know that Drew wins the main event anyway. But yeah, that was something that kind of stuck in my mind. And so that was it, really. That was it for this opening segment. And so we were done. We ended up going backstage. So Dominic wasn't out there. He was actually backstage, and he is backstage with Liv. She is, like, you know, trying to seduce him. She's like, I really want to see you again. There was a great line here. She said, don't be with a girl that makes you call her mommy. Why don't you be with a girl that calls you daddy? And she gave him, like, this, what I thought was like her number on a bit of paper. Turned out to be the hotel room key. We wouldn't find that out for a little bit, but I thought that was a really good line from Liv. This Liv-Dominic situation is obviously very compelling, very intriguing, and it played out really well through the show. I really like it. And I know I'm not alone in that. Then we got this National Puerto Rican Day Parade, which featured Damian Priest and Zelina Vega. So, Daddy Dom. Then we went to our first match. I really enjoyed this first match. I really liked it. Unfortunately, the community didn't seem to be as eager. It did fine. It got 94% goods. The way our match ratings work is you've got bad, good, great, all time. So ideally you want to at least be getting into somewhere in great to be a match that's kind of worth paying attention to. This was goods. Came out as just goods. Okay, goods. 94%. It's the top end, but I thought it did enough to get into great, personally. I really enjoyed this. Dakota interferes. That means that damage control attack. Caden and Katana come down and make the save. So these two did really, really well. As I said, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good match. It was a win for Iyo. So she managed to get the victory over Lyra. And as we said, damage control attacking after. Caden and Katana coming down. This is clearly setting up Caden, Katana, Lyra against damage control. So yeah, fun. I'm all right with that. After that match, we then went backstage again. Dominic spoke to the guys and he's like, look, you need to know that Liv was in here. I didn't want her in here, but she was in here and she gave me this card. It's her hotel room key cards, and he put it in the middle of the table, and it went missing. So they were talking and they were like, right, look, we've got a match in a bit. We need to deal with that. We'll come back and where's it gone? And like the key card thing had gone. And so it had vanished. Now, I don't know who took it here. I don't think we ever actually see who takes it. It does reappear later, and it was Dominic that had it, but he claims he never took it in this moment. He claims, he's like, Liv must have planted it on me. So I don't know where it got. I don't know if Liv's under the table or something, or if Dominic did take it. I'm not sure. But the key card was there. It goes missing. It does show up later. Dominic did have it. So again, we're just kind of looking into all of this stuff, speculating as to which way this is going to go, how it's going to play out. Then we got this. So this is the backstage moment. Sammy checking on Maxine and Akira, and he was like, guys, look, I'm really sorry. Did you watch the footage back? And Maxine was like, yeah, I did. Because obviously he knocked into her last week, but he was pushed. So, and Maxine saw that. Otis arrived, and Sammy was like, look, I think we're done here, because Sammy and Otis were having a match later. And Otis was like, look, I just want to tell you, I lost everything. I had it all. I had the briefcase. I had my peach. He mentions Mandy Rose in a roundabout way. I had my peach. And he's like, I lost it all. And who was there for me? Chad. Chad was there for me. And actually, if you think about it, Alpha Academy have been together a long time. They've been together quite a long time. You can understand why Otis is struggling with this. And it's like, this is family. And Sammy was like, look, that's what he wants you to think. That's not what this is. And he just can't get through. And he's like, look, I'll see you later. So a little backstage moment here with Sammy and Maxine and Akira. It's worth mentioning that it was kind of around this time that we end up getting the QR code. There is a video on that on the other channel. It's actually not as deep, not as rich as QR codes that we've had. It does definitely feel like we're in a different final phase now. I feel like now it's more about building towards Monday, next Monday, and the arrival of the group, and being very clear that next Monday is the day. So it definitely feels like we're working towards that. We've got a countdown clock which takes us to next Monday. So they've been very clear about the 17th. 17th. Now we've got this countdown clock. So yeah, it definitely feels like that's where we're heading. That definitely feels like where we're going. I do still think there's a chance we get something at Clash. We'll have to wait and see though. So we got the QR codes. And then we went to our next match, our second match. This was Braun Strowman, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee taking on the Judgment Day. This got a good 96% rating. People seem to be okay with this. Liv arrived in the middle of the match and she was pleading with Dominic. Zelina knocks Liv off the edge of the ring. She lands on top of Dominic, and there's a moment where she's kind of on top of Dominic, and basically Braun, Rey, Dragon Lee, they sort of use this moment to get the advantage and go on to secure the victory. So it's a win for those guys, but again, it's Liv getting involved, trying to seduce Dominic Mysterio. You know, Liv's trying to take everything from Rhea, and we know that includes Dominic. And it seems to be going quite well, in all fairness. A little backstage moment here with Ricochet and Ilja. Ilja was building towards his match with Bron. There was a good amount of respect between these two, and obviously Ricochet would come to Ilja's aid later in the show. Then we got to this bit here, so this is the moment where we get Chad interrupting Sammy. Sammy was in the ring, he was talking about Chad, talking about the IC title match that's going to take place at Clash at the Castle. Chad comes out, talks about how we're family, talks about how happy everyone is, and Sammy's like, are you deluded? Do you think they're happy? Why don't you ask them if they're happy? And so we went down the row, and, you know, no one said they weren't, but no one said they were either. Loud chants for Otis is so over. So over. And obviously then this led to the match. So we knew we were getting Sammy versus Otis. That's the match that this leads to. Chad says that he's going to unleash an Otis that doesn't feel any emotions and all this kind of stuff. And Otis is like, I don't think that's quite where Otis is. Like, Chad has gone super dark, super evil. And like the Alpha Academy are just not kind of going with him. So yeah, it kind of set up the match. And Chad would actually interfere during the match. This match wouldn't go all that long. I think it's a DQ win for Sammy. So I think Sammy gets the DQ win thanks to Chad interfering. As a result of this not being quite what we hoped for, it got a good 90%, so didn't set the world on fire. And basically Chad interferes. Chad ends up slapping Otis twice hard, right? Otis has Chad backed in the corner. He just can't bring himself to kind of do anything. There's a moment where he charges at Chad. He finally loses it, charges at Chad. Chad moves out the way and Otis splashes into Sammy. And he just scoops him up and World's Strongest Slam plants him down. I did wonder why he carried on with that slam. If he's angry and he's worked up at Chad, why did he end up slamming Sammy? I think it's just a simple case of he was worked up and he just had to get it out. He just had to get his frustration out. And unfortunately, it was Sammy that was there at the time. If he'd have got his hands on Chad, I think he would have took it out on Chad. But it was Sammy that he got hold of and he ended up, you know, he was seeing red at that point. So, yeah, he kind of ends up beating up Sammy again. So if I'm Sammy, I'd be like, dude, you can keep your apologies. I'm so tired of you beating me up and then apologizing. But yeah, as we said, he got to that point where he almost had Chad, but he couldn't. He couldn't pull the trigger. Couldn't hit him. Chad with a big smile on his face. He knows that he's got this group right where he wants them. But get the feeling that they're not going to stay there very long. I think this weekend will be where Chad finally, and Scotland should really react very well to that when this moment goes down. And I think it'll be at the PLE. So, yeah, that was that moment. Backstage, R-Truth said that he had just seen a fortune teller and that there was going to be a tag title match against APA. And so like Miz is all confused. Scarlett comes out the room. She's like, it was pleasure talking to you. And obviously Miz then realizes what's happened. She's managed to get herself a tag title match for AOP, not APA. So it was good. It was fun. This was all right. Little backstage moment. This was confirmed. Cody Rhodes will be on NXT tomorrow, which is quite the surprise. So there we go. Cody Rhodes live on NXT. So I got told during the stream that apparently this is because they want to see if they can overtake AEW in the ratings this week. I really hope that's not the motivation. I would much rather they just focus on their own lane and they just try to do, you know, what they need to do to just keep this momentum going. I'm hoping it's more that than we want to beat AEW this week, because I don't know about you, I don't think they're going to be able to maintain these numbers. And it's good that they're trying though. But AEW are clear of NXT. NXT has just briefly gone up and is kind of at this level up here at the moment. And we know that AEW is sort of struggling a little bit. And I'm sure AEW are going to have a pretty stacked show with MJF and all that kind of stuff. So I hope that's not the focus. I hope that's not the real reason. I hope it's just that they want to keep these good numbers going. But either way, we get Cody on NXT tomorrow. Right, then we got a little glimpse of Jey Uso, who, to my knowledge, wasn't on the show this week, which I've only just realised is a bit strange not to see Jey Uso. Then we got Bianca and Jade coming out. They were not in wrestling attire. They were out there to watch Shayna and Zoey take on Alba and Isla. And this thing was weird, man. This was weird. I mean, this match, it was just Shayna getting a rear naked choke, getting the win. It was very short. It got a good 76%. And I was surprised it was that high. Good 76%. So yeah, I was really surprised that Shayna and Zoey, I wasn't surprised they got the win, but that it was this easy. So, and honestly, I couldn't tell you what Alba and Isla's entrance music or Titantron even looked like. But yeah, it was good to see them having in action, having a match, but not that they got all that much time. Then up next, as it says here, look, Bron Breakker against Ilja Dragunov, and oh, we needed this match. I mean, I feel like I enjoyed the opening match, and then pretty much, other than the Liv stuff, everything that followed was a bit flat. I mean, even the Chad and Otis stuff, we've seen it so many times. We just keep doing the same thing of, oh, is he going to turn? Is Otis finally going to snap? Is he going to do it? He doesn't. He didn't. I didn't think he would. I thought we were saving it for the PLE. So, yeah, for me, that's fine. It was passable. It was acceptable. But I don't know, man. I've seen it quite a few times now. So, it really, there was not much between, for me, there was not much between Lyra and Iyo and then this Bron Breakker Ilja Dragunov match. And quite a bit of the show had gone by this point. Good match. This got a great 70%. I really enjoyed it. Loads of hard hitting, like German suplexes. Bron is really having to dig deep here. Really enjoyed it. Bron does get the win. He does get past Ilja. And I really actually didn't mind it, because this did feel like it took a lot out of Bron. My big criticism when Jey beat Ilja was that it felt a little easy. I didn't think it was as much of a struggle as it should have been. This felt more of a struggle. I was not as down on this. Still not fan of Ilja losing, but you know, clean finish. I sort of appreciate that, actually. A clean finish. I'll take a clean finish. So Bron Breakker wins. Then we get Ricochet coming down. So after the match, Bron Breakker starts beating up on Ilja. Ricochet comes to the save. That's when this segment would end. But obviously we know something big would happen later backstage. Talking about backstage, we had Judgment Day. They found the key card. Dominic had it. They put it on the table. They're all like, listen, this is that she's trying to split us apart and all this kind of stuff. And they agreed to not let it distract them. And just as they're about to walk away, Finn Balor takes it, puts it in his pocket. Finn Balor takes the cards and puts it in his pocket. So we've seen Finn getting out of a car with Liv before. She's jumping on top of Dominic. You know, she is doing everything she can right now, right? She is doing everything she can to try and split this group apart. So, yeah, God bless her and her attempts. So, yeah, I've got to say, it was really fun. It was really good. Then we got some information. So we know that Clash at the Castle kickoff is going to be on Friday just before SmackDown. We'll be doing the live stream for this. We know that on Saturday we got Clash at the Castle. We've got the countdown show. We're obviously going to be doing that. There's the press conference after. Don't know that we'll be doing that, to be honest, but I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, that is this weekend, and we're all over it on the Wrestling Days channel. We'll be doing the watch-alongs for that. Backstage, we had Sheamus tell Drew to go get that title on Saturday. Drew said, well, look, if you win Money in the Bank, you're a gentleman. I know you'll give me a heads up. And Sheamus is like, yeah, man, you know what we're all about. Banger after banger after banger. So it seems like Sheamus wants in the Money in the Bank. He kind of mentioned that Ludwig is interested in going in Money in the Bank as well. And so I don't know if both of them are going to go in. We know that Jey Uso is interested also. So yeah, lots to kind of take away from that. But Drew, obviously, getting focused on the main event. We had the Awesome Truth AOP match. It was a win for Awesome Truth. This got 92% goods. Basically, just before they went out, they said that we would not abandon you like Kofi abandoned you. It was a message to Xavier. It's very interesting how they're trying to split up the New Day. Well, the New Day would actually interfere. They'd come down during the match. They would start throwing shots to, I think it was Paul Ellering, one of the AOP members. So they would come down and Awesome Truth would use that to their advantage to secure the victory. R-Truth at one point had the belt as well. He was trying to full-on cheat by using the championship. I mean, they Awesome Truth are looking to keep these belts any way they can. I sort of respect it as well. So, yeah, it was for the titles. It wasn't that long. It wasn't that good. It got 92% goods. But, yeah, it was what it was. Then we got the big moment. So this was backstage, a big brawl backstage, and there was a brilliant moment. I mean, I wonder if I can fire it up if it'll work. There was a brilliant moment where these two are brawling. So it's Bron and it's Ricochet, and Bron actually gets Ricochet and he's throwing him around, and there's a bit where he looks to power bomb him and plant him onto a car. So he's got him here, look, and he drives him into the windscreen. So look at that, smash it off the steps. He drives Ricochet into the windscreen, cracks all the windscreen, and that's it. I mean, Ricochet is done. He ends up going into an ambulance. Samantha Irvin jumps into the ambulance with him as well. She's upset. She's crying. Really good segment, this. Obviously, we know that Ricochet has handed his notice in. The streets are saying this is the last we'll now see of Ricochet in WWE. I think it's a real shame. I think we massively dropped the ball. I think we absolutely could have done something else with him. I think that we just kept doing the same thing. He was Ricochet. He was the same entrance music, same gimmick, same outfits. He was just Ricochet, and we didn't do anything different. It never worked. It was never gonna work. It was never gonna connect. We had to do something different. Why they didn't try and go down that sort of Prince Puma road, I have no idea. You've got someone that's so exciting in the ring, someone that's so good in the ring, and you just wasted it. I think it's a real shame. A real shame. He might not have been the most charismatic of people in the world, but he was a real good pro wrestler. So, yeah, that was a big disappointment to lose Ricochet, to be honest. So here we're seeing that was before the break, and then we come back after the break, and there's Samantha in tears. There's Ricochet being loaded into the ambulance. She jumps in with him, and the ambulance ends up pulling away. And as we said, we think that is it for Ricochet. So that was that, and then we went to main event. This was Drew McIntyre against Finn Balor. It was a win for Drew. Damian would come down and he would cause a slight distraction. Carlito tried to get involved, but Drew would secure the victory. This now means that it's going to be a case that Judgment Day are banned from ringside. This got a good 96%. So just to recap the match scores. First match, Iyo against Lyra, 94% goods. Second match, the tag match, Bron, Ray, Dragon Lee, Judgment Day, 96% goods. Otis, Sammy, 90% goods. Shayna, Zoey against Alba, Isla, 76% goods. Bron Breaker, Ilja, Dragunov, 70% great. Then we had Awesome Truth, AOP, 92% goods. And then main event, Drew versus Finn, 96% goods. And the final words I've got written down, a dead crowd. I mean, this felt like a go-home show, and it really feels like the in-ring action is not where it needs to be. We need more Ilja, Bron Breaker type matches. And to be honest, I do think the community was a little down on Lyra Iyo. I think that deserved better than it got. So I could say that that was kind of in that low-end great category. But even so, it did feel like a show that was a go-home show that was just trying to get to the weekend. And I would expect better next week. And thankfully, I think it's pretty much guaranteed because, of course, we are expecting the Wyatt 6. So there we go. I'm going to give this show a 6.25. Going to give it a 6.25. I kind of feel like it just gets into that acceptable, okay range. But I think it's a good step down from where we have been. But it's a go-home. And unfortunately, you get this with go-homes because a lot of the feuds and the matches are made. So there's not really much that you can do. So those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What was your favorite moment? What was your least favorite moment? And if you want to, you can go over to my Twitter account. Here I am. This is Wrestling Daze YT. And if you go here, you can see about 8,000 followers. So you'll know you're on the right one if these are the numbers. Feedback required. So what were your thoughts and opinions on this week's Raw? Liv and Dom, hotel rooms, QR codes, main event, the crowds, ambulances, Otis and Chads, and anything else? Leave your comments below. So we've had a comment in already. Is there only one that we've had? Oh, no. No. It says we had one, but look at this. Boom. Lovely. So it's 17 we've had. I have got a bit of, there we go, look at that. There's the WWE on Fox said it's happening. And I was like, what's happening? Oh my God, I don't know what this picture is. I don't know if this is safe for work. But there we go. Apparently it's right here. It is happening in that image right there. As we said, that is the Nightbird video. We actually recorded it during the live stream because there wasn't that much to it, to be honest. It didn't really feel like we needed to wait for after. Might as well just get it done, get it up, get it posted, move on to the next thing. So there we go. If you want to leave your comment there, you can leave your comment there. I plan on doing an opinions video tomorrow, of course, and getting your thoughts on this week's Raw. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support as always. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.